Hello there folks. Well, picked up a nice little video today from Facebook actually, where a young guy's going through a company that's put forward the digital health passport. So this is just a bit of an intro, but the following remaining of the video is just a bit of an insight into the companies involved and the people involved in this enterprise. And I'm up here now on VST Enterprises, the blog, and it says plans unveiled to kickstart 24 billion British sports economy following COVID-19 outbreak. So he's looking at a 24 billion pound British sports economy. So he says cybertech company's director develops digital health passport to kickstart return to football, cricket, rugby, golf, horse racing and the F1 season. VST committed to working closely with the UK government and major stakeholders to deploy safe and trusted technology solutions. Now, stakeholders, of course, your big corporate operations. Every town has a stakeholder committee. The committee is that which dictates via the council to you. It's the one taking all the money. It's the one as outsourced providers. Many of them are charitable status so that you can't get to see and find out anything that they're up to. So you've got your police involved, as the Tesco, all your major employees in any town, any catchment area of any kind. The stakeholder committee, calls itself the community, is running the show. It's calling the shots. So if you're not happy with what's happening in your town, with your council, it's the stakeholder committee that are actually pushing everything that you don't like. It says VSTE and its partner Red Strike. Now, I haven't come across them yet, so we'll have to have a look at them at a later date. Are committed to working alongside the government and other major stakeholders to ensure that the technology can be deployed responsibly while fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. Using its Vcode cyber technology, it intends to support the economic recovery of Great Britain and kickstart the UK sports economy and be a part of the solution in helping to move everyone out of isolation as soon as possible. So you can see that this game here is set. They're pushing this nonsense. If you want to come out of the kennel. If you want to come out of the kennel, this is what you're going to have to go for. Yeah. Now, when I looked into this company, what I saw a few different magazines bigging up the tech companies to watch that have just started in 2020. And there were one page with 92, which I include in the video, and this isn't included. So this has been hidden. They've been hiding this. And now, of course, they've announced it, they're pushing it. But this has been hidden in the background. Nobody's been talking about this until now. The ambitious and bold solution comes after a sporting event and fixtures across the UK were cancelled as part of the government's lockdown procedure to tackle COVID-19. The lockdown has decimated the sports industry and the future of many football, rugby clubs in particular, hangs in the balance. Now, yeah, the lockdown has decimated everything. So who has put this lockdown? Your councillors and your MP, because they have obeyed the guidelines coming from a bankrupt corporation called HM Government. Yeah? More for you, you've followed it. You've all jumped on and gone along with this. You are responsible for obeying nonsense. You're wrecking your own economy. That's what this is all about. The first phase is about installing the system and order platform where you will stay in house arrest and then quarantine. Can you see? That's what they've now got you doing for them. All they speak on the telly, the talking heads between the crosses, are moving off liability by changing the words, knowing full well that you are not going to be reading them. You know, it's ridiculous, but they're telling you now that you're actually doing it all by yourself, okay? And which you are. I've just picked up a nice protest in Poland where the people are going absolutely crazy against mandatory vaccination. This is what is wrong with this country. There's no cohesion. Every man for himself. You're all far too busy being the hit man, the hit woman, on absolute nonsense. And then you turn around and wonder why this is going on. It's because you're not taking any notice. You know, the TV and your telephone is more important to you than what's going out in your world. And now you're beginning to see the consequences of that ridiculous plan of action for your own life. The concept was convinced by Louise James Davis, CEO of VST, and Red Strike, the sports marketing agency founded by former Manchester United Football Club International Managing Director Mike Farnan. Now, Mike Farnan's on the board of directors in the company. So there we can now see, we get a better understanding of Mike Farnan. Collaborating together, Louise James Davis and Mike Farnan formulated a digital app to get the British sporting industry back on track as it recovers from the virus lockdown, when the phased lifting of restrictions takes place over the coming weeks. The passport-style app can be used at all major sporting events, including football, golf, tennis, rugby and F1. Can you see? This is clever stuff. The Vcode Digital Health Passport is a truly unique way in which all football and rugby clubs, major sporting events and sports governing bodies can implement a simple and highly effective universal system to ensure fan safety at sporting events. So if you don't have this passport, which means you're going to have to give all your information to these companies, download the crazy stupid app. What you've got to do now is recognise what this is and tell it a big fuck off. We don't want your app, we don't want your tracing, we don't want your surveillance, and we certainly don't want to be giving private corporations using the term NHS any of our medical data, financial data, or any personal data whatsoever. It really is ridiculous that in this country today, the vast majority of you really cannot see through the nonsense that you're getting on the TV. You know, it's beyond a joke, to be quite frank. So, Red Strike and MD Mike Farnan said the Premiership and Football League, as one example, have been decimated by this unprecedented event. Unprecedented, my ass. It's been planned for a long time, since at least 2008. The major sporting events such as F1 calendar also thrown into disarray, and hundreds of millions of pounds potentially lost in sponsorship and revenue streams. That's exactly the idea. If you're going to destroy an economy, you want the economy to cease. That's exactly what you've all done in this however many weeks it's been since lockdown began. You have willingly and consensually destroyed your own enterprise, all your own private companies, and now what's going to be left when this opens up is the corporations. The corporations are the banks on the streets. This is what you've done, and you've bowed down to them. You've bent over, you've bent the knee, and you've said, destroy our economy. We will stay in. We will take your tests, blah, de blah, de blah. That's who you are out there today. That is who you have become. So 2 world wars were for what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because civilization has gone in this country. Sense, intellect, critical thought, a sense of a moral self-responsibility for your own actions in this nation is no longer, I'm afraid. It's an absolutely terrible thing. So I've gone into a little bit more detail than the guy who did on the Facebook, because I think he just needs a little bit of help there. He seems to be a very busy lad, and he might happen to need your support as well. So I'll leave you with this intro and just take a look at the companies, and you'll get an insight into how these front operations carry out their back end business tactic. And it's all about hiding. The Isle of Man is involved here with one of the companies, and now I think it's his wife, Nicole Sarah Davis, is the person of significant control within this company. If we just look at VP Platform, so they do VP Code and VP Platform are the systems that they're promoting at the moment. And it's claimed to be founded in 2012, and it's been lauded for its development of Vcode, which among other applications has the potential to revolutionise financial transactions both online and offline. So it's being promoted by Dewhurst, who are calling it a most innovative business. HN government, I know VST prides itself on infinite possibilities, and it's exactly the sort of optimism this country needs to power its economy. Manchester's exciting tech industry is already sparking new ideas and new businesses, and VSTE will be able to spread the world in India. Right Honourable Theresa May. Department for International Trade, VST Enterprises is a prime example of how UK firms are seizing the numerous opportunities available in overseas markets. This is a big thing. That's Liam Fox. Right Honourable Liam Fox. Right Honourable, is that correct? I'm not so sure. Midas. again pushing VST Enterprises. These are huge companies, and you've got government departments. You've also got the BBC. Here we go. Leads the way for next generation engagement with consumers. You know, this is huge. Oh, the team. Louise James Davis, CEO. Robert Wigley, Chairman. Neville Buckley, Chairman, Davis Co-Holdings. Nicole Davis, Operational Lead. Ian Hetherington, Andy Giblin, John Quigley, Gerard Franklin, Mike Farnan, Jonathan Davis, James Screen, Gary Pariton, Arun Jan, so now VST Enterprises India, Diwakar Singh, VST Enterprises India, Shaz Sulman, VST Enterprises Asia, Ajaz Sulman, VST Enterprises Asia, and back to Louise James Davis. So you can see this is no small fry company. This is big. And USA office, 43 West 23rd Street, New York. So UK office, USA office, India office. And they've had awards from KPMG, Harvey Nash, TMT, NatWest, and the UK Business Tech Awards. And this is for the Vcode technology and the V platform. This is no small fry company. This is big. So just looking at medical startups, and this is an updated as of May 24th, 2020, and it goes through 92 startups from this year, and none of our companies so looked at are named. So either it's just a low grade one pushing its luck, or it's a major monster and it's being hidden. So just seeking back the origins of the term V-Health, we can take that back to May 2017, when V-Health was launched by a company called Aetna. And it was presented as the best innovative medical product of the year in the Times Network 2018 award. So V-Health advertises itself as a service that enables members to connect with doctors remotely via mobile phone, tablet or laptop, and is designed to reduce the need for physical consultations. So all the game is about moving you from outside into cyberspace, which works in sync with the lockdown, which is the mechanic to actually get that in operation. Since its launch, more than 1 million people in India have registered for the service via the app. In that time, 28,000 remote doctor consultations have successfully been carried out. And in 78% of cases, the healthcare needs of individuals have been met without the need for a physical consultation. So there is a May 2017. So what is the Times Network? Well, we'll take this from the website timesnownews.com and the section about Times Network, and it says, as India marches to its destiny, we see the emergence of a whole new breed who are leading from the front. These are the people who believe in themselves and know it is in them to shape the future. For them, the past is a memory and the future is now. This is the now generation. They are influencers who are shedding their passiveness and inhibitions, embracing aggression and speed to catch up and get ahead of their global counterparts. So this is, we get an idea of the entrepreneurs these guys are pushing. It's the now generation. Seizing the opportunity, Times Network, with its credo, now or nothing, takes the centre stage of influencing the influencer by delivering the most compelling and irreplaceable content to these viewers. The network has stamped its leadership to be an expert curator of segmented and differentiated content across news and the entertainment genre. In the present dynamic broadcasting landscape, where TV is an enduringly powerful platform, Times Network leads with its groundbreaking innovation and being a disruptor that creates a new genre of content. With a global presence across 100 countries, to get that, 100 countries. Times Network, part of India's largest media conglomerate, the Times Group, houses the upscale brands Times Now, ET Now, Mirror Now, Movies Now, and Movies Now HDMN. plus Romodate Now and Romodate Now HD, MNX and MNX HD, and Zoom that informs, entertains, and engages with viewers. TimesNowNews.com, as the digital arm of Times Network, has seamlessly adopted itself to serve the diverse nature and interests of the content-savvy internet audience. Just while looking on the Times Now News, I saw a report about Zoom, which they claim to control, is demanding a 5 update mandatory by May the 30th as video calls move to new GCM encryption for all video meetings. Given we're speaking about the health passport and we're talking about cybernet connection to all things medical, would suggest that Zoom might not be a good format for those of us who have used it in relation to trying to deal with and debate ever unfolding events in the world. It's not looking like Zoom is as good as it's said, but then of course I'll leave that up to you. So who are VST Enterprises Limited? Well, a quick look on Companies House says it was incorporated on the 13th of November 2012 as a private limited company. The nature of business, other information technology service activities. Its address or registered office is Crow LLP, Lexicon, Mount Street, Manchester, England, M25NT, and the company status is active. Now the people. It's had 28 offices in its time and 21 resignations. There are only 7 people currently active within the company. Well, persons rather, because obviously some of these are companies. So the first is Davisco.Holdings. Now I want you to notice that doesn't have limited on the end, because there is another company of the same name with the added limited to the end. So they're obviously separate companies. That's the same address. It's active and it's acting as the secretary. We have Louis James Davis, and it says he's active as a director. We have Nicole Sarah Davis, again active as a director. Ian Hetherington, William James Mapstone, Terence Shaw Marsh, and now we see again Davisco.Holdings Limited. Okay, so that's the active directors. So if we take a look at Davisco.Holdings, we see that it has one appointment, and that is as a company secretary to VST Enterprises Limited, as we've just seen. We just go back there, and we go down to Louis James Davis. He's got 4 appointments. He's a director at Davisco Holdings Limited, at VST Enterprises Limited, at VIA Solidus Consultancy Services Limited, but that's now dissolved, and Vcode Limited, which again is an active directorship, and its address is Crew LLP, Lexicon, Mount Street, Manchester, England. So we're still talking about the same address. VST Enterprises is Beetham Tower, Deansgate, and Davisco Holdings is 4202 Deansgate, Manchester. So they have quite a standing in Manchester. Now, Nicole Sarah Davis, a total of 4 appointments. She is the active director of DH UK SPV Limited, with the address 63 Hurst Crescent, Glossop. And she was appointed so April 8th to 20. We have VST Enterprises Limited. Again, she's an active director. Appointed on the 12th of March 2019. Davis and Davis Consulting Limited. Again, active directorship, 63 Erskine Crescent, Glossop, England. And then Davisco.Holdings Limited. Now, again, that's active, and she was appointed on the 1st of February 2019. So, Hetherington Ian. 25 appointments. So this guy, Torrimadorso Limited, and that's Wilmslow, Cheshire, active directorship, appointed 19th February 2020. VST Enterprises, active directorship. Vidian 13D Limited, and that's Woodbury Grove, London, and that's active directorship. Ixty Holding Limited, this is Congleton, Cheshire, and that's dissolved. Active is Midoko Limited, Coventry. Viva Online Holdings, and that's Altrincham, and again that's an active directorship. Viva Online Limited, active, Altrincham. EMH Motorsport Hospitality Limited, Brickhouse Farm, Congleton, that's dissolved. That's dissolved. Resign. So this guy's a busy boy. This guy is definitely a busy boy, and that's Ian Hetherington. William James Mapstone, 1 appointment, VST Enterprises, active director. Terence Shaw Marsh, 5 appointments, VST Limited, Accession Limited, that's Newark, dissolved. Resign. So he's active just at VST Enterprises now. And then we get to Davies Code Holdings Limited, 15 appointments, this company. It's V Property Limited, that's Deansgate. No, they're not active. He's obviously been through quite a lot of stuff, this guy. All designed. Ended. James Davis, VST Enterprise, has resigned. So if we look at Davies Co Holdings Limited, it had 1 appointment at D.H UK SPV Limited. Now, the company status is active, but Davies Co Holdings Limited resigned as secretary on the 8th of April 2020. So that's this year. And it was only appointed on the 10th of January 2020. The address for this company is PO Box 145, Douglas, DFK, Chancery Trust, Douglas, Isle of Man, IM991FY. And if you look a bit further down, it says Law Governed Isle of Man, Legal Form Limited Company, Register Locating Isle of Man. So there's something odd about the fact that the Isle of Man is being used for this one particular company. And at the moment, I'm looking into the occupation format in relation to how the occupations are operating against nations from islands, as it were. And I'm wondering if the Isle of Man, because as I understand, the Isle of Man is a crown land, but it's not subject to the UK government. Though I'm starting to think that may be encroaching on the Isle of Man. But there's something very odd about the Isle of Man, and I would suggest reason why this particular company, DH UK SPV Limited, as active is addressed in the Isle of Man. So it's very interesting. More needs to be done on this particular scenario. So if we go to D.H UK SPV Limited, it was incorporated on the 10th of January 2020. Bearing in mind it was involved in the previous company we've just looked at as well. All this going on this year. It's a private limited company, and its nature of business is information technology consultancy activities. So let's have a look in here. So there's been 3 resignations from a total of 5 officers. Active secretary is Louis James Davis, and he was appointed on the 10th of January this year. Active director is Nicole Davis, appointed 8th of April 2020. Now, Davis Code Holdings Limited has resigned as secretary, and that's the previous one we just looked at that was registered in the Isle of Man. So there's something going on with this company, Davis Code Holdings Limited. And again, if we just hit that, there we go. We're back to what we've just looked at in relation to it being in the Isle of Man. Now, this guy has resigned as a director. So Louis James Davis has resigned because he's now active as the secretary. So Louis James Davis is the secretary of DH UK SPV Limited, with Nicole Sarah being a director. So if we move into filing history, and we just look through briefly on dates. So 10th of Jan Incorporated. On the 21st of April, a termination of appointment of Davis Co Holdings Limited as the secretary, and that was the 8th of April. On the 21st of April, again, termination of appointment of Louis James Davis as a director, again, 8th of April. 21st of April, termination of appointment of Davis Co Holdings Limited as a director. Appointment of Mrs. Nicole Sarah Davis as director, and this again, 8th of April. 21st of April, cessation of Davis Co Holdings Limited. Then on the 21st, we also had the cessation of Louis James Davis as a person with significant control. So he's resigned as the person with significant control. And then on the 21st again, Nicole Sarah Davis is presented as a person with significant control. So controlling D.H UK SPV Limited is Nicole Sarah Davis, with a bit of shenanigans going on with Davis Co. Holdings Limited. Again, like I said, that's a company registered in the Isle of Man. So there's some interesting stuff going there, to be quite honest. I'm not sure what to make of that. Let me just take a look at Mr. Louis James Davis, as he was appointed to VST Enterprises in 2015, 1st of the 11th. His service address is 3403 Beetham Tower, Deansgate, Manchester, England, M34LU. And he has himself down as occupation entrepreneur. So this gives us a bit of an idea as to who this chap is. So there's definitely something odd about this guy. Entrepreneurs are in general fronts, or people being brought up to front the operations of the big boys. If we now look at Nicole Sarah Davis on Companies House, we find that she has 4 appointments: DH UK SPV Limited, VST Enterprises Limited, Davis and Davis Consulting Limited, and Davis Co. Holdings Limited. And she's active in all those positions. So I just want to look a bit more closely at this Certificate of Incorporation of a Private Limited Company in relation to D.H UK SPV Limited. Now, this is filed on the 10th of January 2020. I know there's been changes since, but just try and get an understanding of what's been registered here. So, at Companies House, an application to register a company was received in this particular format, and the company name in full is D.H UK SPV Limited, company type private company limited by shares, situation of registered office England and Wales, and the proposed registered office is 63 Hurst Crescent, Glossop. Now, proposed officers. So company secretary 1, because they have 2, is type corporate, name Davis Co. Holdings Limited, principal business address PO Box 145 Douglas, DFK Chancery Trust, Douglas, Isle of Man, IM 991FY. So it says again, non-European Economic Area, EEA company. So legal form, limited company, law governed Isle of Man, registered location Isle of Man. So governing this company is the law of the Isle of Man. Now, the second company secretary is person, Mr. Louis James Davis, and his service address is 63 Hurst Crescent, Glossop. Now, he's also a company director, again, Mr. Louis James Davis, and country state usually resident is England, nationality is England. So this is only a young chap. This guy's only born in 1988. So this guy's fronting something. And company director 2 is Davis Code Holdings Limited. So 2 secretaries, 2 directors made up of 2, a person, a natural man, and a company registered in the Isle of Man. So it's statement of capital shares, and it's ordinary rating GBP 100. The largest shareholder is Davis Code Holdings Limited with 99, and Louis James Davis is given 1 share, but that gives him the right to be secretary and director. So a corporation, it was somebody who will count as a person with significant control, either a registrable person or a relevant legal entity. So individual person with significant control details is Mr. Louis James Davis. So although he's only got 1 share, he's the secretary, he's the director, and he is the individual person with significant control. And there we go, his details once again. So, nature of control, the person has the right to exercise or actually exercises significant influence or control over the company. So 1 share gets you director, secretary, and control of the company. Can you see there's a game with when they're playing like this? This is some kind of game, and I don't claim to understand it fully. Relevant legal entity. So this is the legal entity. So obviously it's a company called Davis Code Holdings Limited. And again, this is your Isle of Man. So this is a statement of compliance. So this is Davis Code Holdings Limited giving authorization to Louis James Davis to basically control this company. And then it goes through all the rules of incorporation. So that is just, there's something going on there. It might need somebody to get their nose in a bit deeper than I've managed to get so far. I will continue to look into these people, but the fact that it's got the Isle of Man included with the certificate of incorporation, and then we have the cessation of directorship secretary by Louis and. So here we are on Louis James Davis, the entrepreneur, on his Twitter. He's following 2874 and he's got 10.2k followers, and he joined in July 2009, and there he is showing off with Theresa May. Pleased to see VST Enterprises in the FT today, so it's being pushed. Look, it's Financial Times. Looking forward to VST and partners launch the digital health passport. Lots of international TV, print, digital awareness of VST Enterprises. So these guys on the rise, and they're going to be pushing for shareholders. So there you can see, this is the guy. This guy's a front. And he's getting into football. He's looking at it in Pakistan. Great day in New York. There he is. You Americans, you better watch yourselves. He's coming. VS Enterprise, Sony PlayStation Pioneer. MCR Awards. There is him and his little woman. There we go. And there he is. Great meeting, he says, at Christie's Inc. with Lord Snowden and Mike Tyndall for Vcode traceability in the art sector. Royal family is putting up their. Now we're getting to see what the crack is, aren't we? Let's have a good look. This guy is a serious front in the making. And I mean a serious front. Great day working on the Darwin House Conservation Project. Oh, he's well tapped in, this guy. Yeah, I think we're seeing a serious eye-level frontman being pushed to the front here. There we go. This company, DH UK SPV Limited, which is the one in the Isle of Man, and the controlling or significant person now controlling is Nicole Sarah. So it is if we can see there, Nicole Davis is person of significant control. So we can see we've got the chronology. So incorporation 10th of Jan, and then by the 21st of April, everything changes and leaves Nicole Davis as the person with significant control with over 75% shares. Now, it doesn't mean Louise has lost his share. He hasn't, and he's still got some control. But the person designated of significant control is now Nicole Davis. So there's a bit of something going on there, obviously. And this Louise James Davis is looking more and more like a very high level operated front they now call entrepreneurs. So this guy's operating for either a lodge or some organisation that's connected to this huge incorporation of everything, and presenting a front man there for you, the public, to see, when really it's not the case at all. So I hope this sort of gives us some insight into how these new tech companies that have all appeared in this year in readiness for this pandemic are actually moving, and especially if we're looking at this one, because this one is looking to give us all a health passport, whether we like it or not. But they're going to enforce it through the corporations by insisting if you haven't got what they require in relation to this passport, whether it's from your app on your phone, whether it's some kind of certificate you carry, or, as we can see from that, the platform is very close to moving to some form of microchip or some form of bodily Vcode, basically, because that's what this company is all about, the Vcode and the V platform. So, and we can see that it's not just a small fry, it's being ignored by those that are correlating the important companies and new start tech companies for this year, and no mention at all of VST and the V platform and Vcode at all in those startups. So it's definitely being hidden, and it's backed by government. It's backed by the government itself. So that's Theresa May. It's backed by the department with Liam Fox. You know, this company is being moved from government. So very interesting. And I hope, again, people can start to see that this idea of the app trace platforms for surveillance is a serious piece of fascist wizardry that they intend to install upon you, first by fear, to gain the consent. So it's all consensual. If this goes ahead, you know, you are consenting to it. And so I hope this helps in just another part of the dissection of this madness that's thrust upon us, supposedly on the back of a pandemic, to show that this has been planned for a very long time. And the companies involved have been going, well, these guys have been operating since 2012, not quite in the capacity they are today, but you can see how these are formed way back as the plans have been accepted and they're being pushed in to make active. So on that, I'll let you to it, and till the next time.